Welcome to the Confidence in You podcast, designed to help you build confidence and create positive, lasting change in your life. And here's your host, Helen Luxford.
Hi there, and welcome back again to the podcast today. Thank you for being here and spending some time with me. Today I want to talk about stress levels and give you some hints and tips on how to keep your stress levels down, particularly at this time of year where things can be a little bit overwhelming with the Christmas period and the holiday season. And one way of doing that is just letting go of things that aren't that important. Letting go of things that in the scheme of life, really, does it matter? These little things that we get so hung up about, someone cutting in front of us in the traffic and we beep our horn and we get all angry. You can't change it. They've already done it. But you can change your reaction to that. Is there any point in you getting worked up and banging on the steering wheel and yelling out the window and beeping your horn? Probably not. It's just working you up. So what I want to focus on today is letting go of things that aren't that important, that you can't fix or change or control, and just protecting your energy levels, your mindset and your mood and where you're coming from. We can't change what happens to us, but we can control our reaction to it. And when you can harness that and keep your energy levels where you want them to be, instead of fluctuating from really high highs to really low lows, you'll go through life with less stress. So I just want to talk about the importance of letting go of control for a bit. You know, we don't always have to control everything in our lives, and quite often when we do, we apply a lot more pressure to ourselves. We feel like we have to have all the answers. We have to be organised. We have to be in control, when in reality, we actually don't. But it might be part of our personality, our persona, who we perceive ourselves to be. And letting go isn't as always easy as some people might think it might be. So I encourage you to have a think about the last week and how your stress levels have been. And where was the stress coming from? Was it coming from external, or was it coming from internal, from yourself, and you putting pressure on yourself to do things, to perform, to have it all organised? I know for me, I had an epiphany a few years ago about letting go of control. I am the person that gets things done, that is organised, that fixes things for everyone else. And you know what? It wasn't doing me any favours. It was actually causing me a lot of internal pressure and stress. And when I discovered this and I started saying no, or I started saying not now, or I started offering, well, I could do it, but I'm busy, someone else could do it, have you spoken to them? Or giving people directions on where they could actually find the information or be able to learn how to do it themselves. And it was a real awakening for me that when I offered these different opinions or different views on how to go about doing things, people were really receptive, like really receptive. And it made such a difference to my life. So I encourage you to have a look at where are times that you could actually just let go and say to someone, sorry, I can't, I've just got too much on my plate. Or say, well, I could, but not now because I've got other things that I'm doing, but I could do it tomorrow, next week, in a month's time, whenever you've got the space to be able to do it if you still want to do it. So recognising what you do want to do and what you're reacting to out of habit, and then stopping it. Stop the habit. Stop that jumping in and fixing things and putting yourself under pressure, or like I used to do, not doing things that were important for me because I put other people's needs first. Something else that I have learned recently, well, when I say recently, the last couple of years also, is just stop arguing about things that don't matter. Simple things like my husband putting dishes in the dishwasher. If you've listened to my podcast, you would have heard about that on a previous podcast. Doesn't matter if things are in the dishwasher, not in the spot that I would put them in. No. Doesn't matter if he puts things in the sink instead of the dishwasher. Well, in the scheme of things, no. Did it annoy me? It used to, because I used to focus on that. I used to huff and puff that he put things in the sink instead of putting them in the dishwasher. And when I just gently remind him, honey, can you please put things in the dishwasher instead of the sink, because it means I have to double handle it if it's in the sink, things go a lot more smoothly. Instead of me arguing and raising my voice and why can't you put things in the dishwasher? That wasn't working. Wasn't good for me, wasn't good for him, wasn't good for anyone. But letting go and just like, oh, well, it's in the sink, pick it up, put it in the dishwasher. That in and of itself just relieved so much anxiety and stress from my life, because by the time I got worked up about it, by the time I let that anger rise inside me and had the huff and the puff and the yelling at him, I could just pick it up and pop it in the dishwasher. And you know what? It's easy to do. Other things I've learned where I used to stress that doesn't help me is like Christmas time, you're out shopping, you're in a busy car park, and someone else takes your car park. Now, really, wasn't my car park. We were both there at the same time. They got the car park. Now, they're in the car park. They've parked their car. They're not going to reverse out and let me in. So I can beep my horn and I can get angry and I can yell at the windscreen, or I can just go, okay, that park's gone, move on to the next one. When you can catch yourself and lower your stress levels and not get worked up about things that you can't control. I can't change the fact that someone took that car park, but I can change my reaction to that person taking that car park. Now, me getting worked up and angry isn't going to change it. It's just going to make me worked up and angry, which isn't great. So that car park's gone, let it go, move on, find another one. You might have to walk a little bit further to get to the shops. It's okay. In the scheme of life, it is okay. It's not that big a deal. But we get worked up about little things like that, and then it builds and it builds and it builds, and then we look at everything through a lens of negativity, of that happened to me, like someone took my car park. Well, is it really my car park? Probably not, The car park was there, someone else drove into it ahead of me. Other things that we can tend to get wound up about are, why can't the postman or the delivery driver put things on the front doorstep instead of leaving them out in the weather? Why can't people put the trolleys back where they should be at the supermarket? Again, we can get worked up about all of these things, but we can't fix it. We can't change it. We can't stop them from doing that. So just let it be. Today's podcast is about let it be. Relax and let it be. The things that you can't control, just relax and let them be. So for some of you, you might be getting wound up just listening to the stories that I'm sharing and telling you to let it be. So let's have a talk about how you can catch those feelings, because they're not great feelings. Like when you get wound up inside, they're not great feelings. So let's talk about now how you can catch it and how you can reset your nervous system back to neutral, back to calm. Because being in that heightened state, and that's what you're in when you're getting those feelings rising up inside of you, means that your prefrontal cortex is not in a manner that it can make good decisions for you. And therefore you might be making decisions in a state of mind where you are wound up, and they're not going to be great decisions. So let's talk about some tips and techniques that you can use in the moment to help you calm and reset. Tip number 1, become aware. Just reflect back on your day or your week and notice the times where you were in these heightened states, where you were anxious or angry or upset or whatever it might have been. Because until you're aware of how you react in those situations, you can't then do anything to rectify it. So awareness is the first one. And you will hear me say this a lot, with awareness comes choice. Because once you're aware of your reaction, and it is a reaction, not a response, once you're aware of your reaction, that immediate habit or immediate way that you engage when you are feeling those feelings rise up inside you is a reaction. Is that helping you or is that hindering you? Is it affecting a change to give you a different outcome? If it is, then it might be worthwhile continuing. But if it's not, what is it that's causing you to react in that way? And then when you're aware of that, You can feel it coming up because you're now aware. You've taken some time to look at the events or the things that happen that make you react in that manner. And now that you're aware of those times, of those situations, you can remember the feelings that you have, and then you can catch them before they escalate, before you start banging on the steering wheel, or before you start yelling at someone. You can catch it and you can make a decision. Do I want to react in that habitual way, or do I want to just stop? Because it's not going to serve me. Do I want to just stop? Let it go. Just let it be, and just think, okay, I'm going to move on. And this could be at the car park. It could be in the supermarket. It could be you've ordered something and the wrong thing came in. It could be that someone said they were going to do something and they didn't do it. Just let it go. It could be that someone else is arguing with you and you know they're wrong. It's black and white. They're saying it's white. You know it's black. Let it go. It's their opinion. And if it doesn't affect you, then let it go. Just let it go. Don't hold on so tight. And when you start to let go, it's amazing how much better you feel. Letting go of that control, that need to be right. We just have to learn where to pick our battles. Now, if something is really, really important to you and someone else is doing something that's going to affect that or change that or make it a difference in your life, if someone's going to take the car when you need to go to an appointment, or someone's going to do something that's going to adversely affect you, then yes, you do need to speak up in those situations. But if it's just their opinion that they think Santa Claus is real and you think he's not, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they think that bottle of wine is nicer than the other one. Doesn't matter if they like that flavour of margarine instead of another one. Doesn't matter if they prefer multigrain bread to white bread. No, not really, not in the scheme of things. Doesn't matter if they're going to do something that would prevent you from being with your family or seeing someone. Well, then that's a battle you might want to engage in. But do it through a considered lens. Do it through a response rather than that reaction of anger. Catch yourself. Take a breath. Decide how you want to respond in those situations instead of that habitual reaction. Think about a time where you've had an argument with a close person to you. It could be a partner, it could be a family member, and you've gone off at them, right? And it was a silly little thing, the straw that broke the camel's back, that kind of thing. You've had a bad day, you've come home, the kids have said, Mum, can I have this? And you've gone off at them. And then later on, you look back at that and you wish you hadn't reacted in the way that you did. These are the situations I'm talking about where your reactions, when you later on look back at them, you wish you'd done things differently. So be aware of those, reflect back on those times and connect with the feelings that you're having around those reactions where you wish you'd done things differently. Because it's those feelings that when you feel them coming up, you can catch them. And then you can take a breath and then you can respond. So tip number 2 is use the power of breath. When you are feeling those feelings rise up inside you, take 10 seconds to breathe. So just stop, take a big deep breath in, hold it, and then release it slowly. And if you can do that 2 or 3 times, you will calm your nervous system down and you will stop the flood of cortisol going to your brain and you will be able to respond instead of reacting in those situations. And the third tip is remembering to manage your emotions and your energy levels means you've won. Regardless of the situation, regardless of whether that person got the car park or they cut in front of you in the traffic or someone walks off with a smile on their face because they think they have won the argument. By you not engaging, by you letting go, by you protecting your energy, catching those feelings, taking a breath and just letting the other person move on, you've won. Because you've won, because you've managed your energy. You've maintained your internal state. And that is so powerful. It doesn't matter what the other person thinks when they walk off. It doesn't matter whether it's black or white. You've won because you've managed your energy levels and your state. So I encourage you to just reflect on times where you can control, where you can let go. If the kids want to eat too much chocolate at Christmas, it's one day. It's up to you whether that matters or not, but just considering the scheme of things, is one extra lolly or one extra chocolate going to hurt on a special occasion? And remember to breathe. Just breathe. That 10 seconds or 5 seconds of taking a big breath in, holding it, and then releasing slowly does wonders to reset your nervous system, to help you come back to calm. So thank you again for being with me today. Please share with your family and friends, and I really would appreciate if you could follow me on iTunes and give me a rating so that together we can share the news and spread this self-esteem and confidence to others. Have a great Christmas and New Year and happy holiday season, and I'll see you next time.